Could you take us through the emotion on draft day? Just, I've read the story. I just want to, kind of hear what the emotions were like for you. Because what I've read was a story about, you thinking about coming out, the coach telling you, you can go maybe third round, or I think it was fifth round. Then they were saying third. Just take us through the emotions of that day, that phone call. And then right from there, take us through the emotions with the Super Bowl too.
All right, man, I'm going to try and make this short because I'll be on this thing literally preaching to y'all because to me, honestly.
Nah, speak your mind. It's called Pretty Lies and Ugly Truths. Give it all to us.
It's what made me. So going into my senior year, my grandmother was the backbone of my family. She worked hard. Everybody called her for absolutely everything. She was always giving. She never turned her back on people. And my grandmother was very, 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 very Christian devoted. And everything was, to the Bible. But she had beat cancer 11 years prior to that. And it came back really, really bad my senior year. And that's when a lot of things, when I was in my senior year of college, just started to unfold. My mom had cancer. I knew so when I was in 10th grade in high school. But it had gotten bad literally around the same time that my grandmother's did. So going into my senior year, my grandmother passed. And I remember that summer, before she passed, I'm like, God, listen, if you just let me make it to the NFL, I will pay for whatever it is for her to just get healed. I don't care. I don't need that money. I just want to heal my grandmother. That's literally, I'm like, just let her hold out. I know I can make it. But the year prior to that, my coach did tell me, like, listen, you might want to stay. I petitioned to leave to see why we get drafted at. They told me fifth round. He's like, you can come back and play another season and you'll get drafted higher. So I elected to stay another season. And plus I was able to get both my degrees finished. And then, the situation with my grandmother happened going into my senior year. And that was literally all I needed from that standpoint. My senior year, I played my ass off, man. I mean, I went through, hell and back injuries still my senior year, but I played through it, man, and positioned myself to be in the second round. But still going after that, I came down here to Tampa to train. Just reading the blogs every day, and my draft stock going up, it's going down, it's going up, it's going down. So I remember coming down here training, and they was like, listen, I didn't get invited to the Senior Bowl, which is the big bowl where all the big name players at, so I was pissed. I got invited to this East-West Shrine game. Went to that, I showed out. My dad records everything, got clips. It was like, this kid, Mike Neal, that came up here, tore it out. He might be tore it up. He might be one of the best athletes. And mind you, I came out with Tim Tebow, Brandon Graham that played for I came out, my draft class was the deepest draft class in the last 20 years. It was stacked. So, they was like, man, that's the best athlete in this bowl game. So I remember leaving from there literally that day that I left. The president for the Senior Bowl called me, like, you don't want to play in my bowl? I literally all but said, fuck you, because like you ain't sent me no invite, so I ain't showing up to that. And my agent called me, was like, man, is you crazy? You better go to the Senior Bowl. So I didn't even make it from Orlando back to Tampa while I was training. Came back, it was 3:00 in the morning, washed my clothes, jumped on the plane, went to the Senior Bowl. Played in that game. Now, these are NFL coaches at these camps, you know what I'm saying? And they running you to death, you know what I'm saying? Just trying you. Go to the Senior Bowl, I'll blow that shit up. Leave from there, go to the combine, blow that shit up. They started doing private workouts, blow that up. But I had a chip on my shoulder because I was mad. I was waking up every day at 4:00. My trainer like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, I ain't got time for this. I'm going to be here all day, and you're going to have to wake up and be here too. You getting paid for this, so let's go. So I ended up getting drafted. But going into the draft, 4 weeks going into the draft, I went back home, and I was going to church. My pastor was preaching on favor. And so I remember him preaching this one sermon, and he was just like, it can be 15 people in a room, and you applying for this position. And all it takes is for God to move one person in that room for you to be able to get to where you need to be. 14 can hate you, and one can love you, and you can get that position. That's what draft war rooms look like if you watch the draft. It's 20,000 people in one room, and it's that GM's decision. So, and it was just like, and I was tied too. I was a big believer in sowing my seed into the church and reaping the harvest. So I was tied in my college money. I ain't had no money. I blatantly remember writing a check to my church for every last cent I had in my bank account. And I'm like, all right, guys, you got to make this move. So the week going into the draft, I was nervous, man. And I believe in that story. When they had that woman that touched Jesus' cloak, she was bleeding for years. And she said, all I got to do is just get to his cloak. If I touch his cloak, I'm going to be healed. I ain't even got to talk to him. Yeah. So if you understand, I'm a Christian, obviously, and if you understand how God works, pastors are ordained people that God chooses to deliver a message to his people. So I'm like, you know what? Instead of sowing my seed directly into the church, I want to sow it directly to my pastor. He got to touch his seed and he got to pray for it. So I remember going with my last little check. This is the same week of the draft. The draft started on Wednesday. This is Monday. Now I set an appointment with my pastor, and I walk into the room, and my parents didn't have no cars. They had one car. I had a rental car because I was getting money from my agent at the time. Walk in there, and my dad caught a ride from a guy on his job. My mom pitched a ride too. And then we walking into the church. So the guy that bought my dad was like, man, I'm going to sit outside. I said, no, listen, the Bible's on it. And Bible saying Matthew 18 and 19, with two or more together in prayer, that's where I be. I got to have everybody here. I don't care if I don't know you. You got to come in this room.
Right.
We went in that we and we started praying, and it's giving me chill bumps. So I'm sorry, but we started.
It's real.
Praying. Yeah, we started praying, and everybody was just crying, man, and mom and dad just in tears. So then my pastor pulled me to the side, and he was just like, well, where's the tithe at? So I put it out of my pocket. So it was just me, him, and his wife. And I remember him telling me, like, listen, I know you nervous. I can feel it. And he was just like, you going to know when you're supposed to get drafted, because you're not going to be nervous. You're not going to be anxious and none of that. And God going to put you in the right place at the right time. And he was like, you don't have to question his judgment. We prayed over that tide, left, you know what I'm saying? And then Wednesday was the first day of the draft. So I had thought that I was going to end up in the first round with the Colts because they had been calling me, but they ended up taking the defensive tackle Brian Price in the first round instead. So the second day rolled around. I'm nervous as a tick, dude. I couldn't even sit still. I drive like an hour away from my house, go work out with one of my college homeboys, get back home. Ain't nobody in the house. The draft started at 2. I'm like, all right, cool. So my pastor got this prayer. It's called the prayer of favor. I still got it. It's on my bathroom window. I look at it and read it every day. And I remember I prayed that prayer right before 2:00. 2:00 hit. I'm telling you, I was so nervous. You never been so nervous about the shit on yourself?
Right.
I was, like, literally.
Yeah.
2:00 come, all that just goes away. I'm like, dang. Like, my dad walked through the house, and he was like, man, how you feel? I'm like, I'm straight, man. Like, I was like, it's the weirdest feeling. But I remember telling myself, and I remember telling God, if you take me today in this second round, soon as I get drafted, the first thing I'm gonna do is go write a check, money I ain't even have, and I'm gonna sow that seed to the church, literally. Yeah. And so I remember laying on my couch, damn near about to fall asleep. Now my brother that's in the league now, this is kind of, if you fast forward it's just to tell it's crazy. He was sitting next to me on the couch. So I'm laying down, we watching the draft go back and forth, and I'm like, yo, where Pop go? He said he about to go pick up some stuff for some enchiladas. So I was like, cool. So my dad walked in the crib, my dad cooked a lot. And I was like, I'm gonna run upstairs. So my brother was like, man, your phone ringing. I'm like, that shit been ringing all day. He was like, well, it keep ringing. I was like, all right, man, whatever. So I grabbed the phone, pick it up. Hey, is this Mike Neal? I'm like, yeah, this is Rob Davis from the Green Bay Packers. I'm like, yo, what's up, Rob? And he was just like, yeah, man, so how you feeling today? So I talked to him on the phone for a hot little minute. And this is like around the 51st pick. Now I was a 56th pick. So this is how far in advance I knew. So I'm on the phone talking to him. He was like, how your body feel, man? You good? You nervous? What? So I'm talking to him back and forth. And he was like, all right, man, well, listen, man, things about to shake up here in a minute, but I'm going to put you on the phone with our GM. Get on the phone with the GM. They didn't move to the 53rd pick. He like, yo, we got the 56th pick in this draft, right? I'm like, yeah. And then he was like, so what's going to happen is there's about to be a couple trades. But then with the 56th pick, what if I told you that you would be a Green Bay Packer? So at this point, my brother looking at me because he like all in my face. And then my sister ran downstairs and we sitting at the crib and I'm like, I'm trying to try not to smile, trying to keep my composure. And then I just like, man, I love to be Green Bay Packers. So they start going nuts. So it's still on the 53rd pick. So we talking back and forth, getting all the information, just the flight information about how the whole process go after that. So then right when the 56th pick came on, it was like, well, we're going to go ahead and let you enjoy with your family. My mom came downstairs. She was crying like crazy. My dad was crying. I mean, I ran to my sister's room. I'm hiding in the corner trying to talk on the phone. They didn't got so loud. I run outside. By the time I make it outside, Channel 7 News from Chicago, all in my front yard.
Oh, my God.
Outside. It was wild. I ran behind the garage. They have a picture in the newspaper with me ducking behind the garage trying to talk on the phone like this because there was so many people.
Oh, my God.
Literally, man, it was probably one of the biggest things for me. me. And literally, I ended up getting, like I told you, you got to carry a chip on your shoulder. When I got drafted, this fool, Mike Mayotte and Mel Kiper, is that his name? Whatever.
Mel Kiper Jr., yeah.
He come on the TV like, this is a weird pick for the Packers. I don't know why they drafted this dude. So automatically, the same day I'm happy, I'm like, man, fuck this nigga. I'm finna go show these fools what's happening. You know what I'm saying? So I went through that whole little thing, man, and it was cool for me, because just from the personal thing, just having faith and sowing the seed and understanding where I was going to end up was probably one of the biggest things for me. And literally that Sunday I went to church. When I walk in, they had security everywhere. They called me up on stage, and I literally pulled that check out of my pocket and I gave it right to the pastor. I said, the first thing that I said was, I'm gonna sow this seed right back into God, because I know that if I get this to him, I'm gonna be taken care of. And no matter what I went through in the NFL, from that standpoint, I literally was. You know what I'm saying? I still started 4 years. I played 6 different positions. They couldn't get rid of me. They're like, we need this dude, because he literally, he hurt, but this dude, he gonna play. You know what I'm saying?